All right, guys, welcome into today's video. We're here to talk about our baby. That's right, Metamaterials and MMTLP. We got a good bit of information to go over, so make sure you are ready to go. All right, so here we can see the price action today. Metamaterials had a little bit of a run. We traded almost 6 million. So a couple 100,000 shares there, but considering we're in a bear market, not too bad. As we hear and take a look, currently at tomorrow, we are slightly positive. We will see if the futures hold up. Currently, S&P futures are up 1.5 points. Dow futures up 11 points. NASDAQ futures up almost 15 points. And the Russell 2000 futures are up basically 1 point. So take a look at MMTLP. Here you can see MMTLP had a huge day, but very interesting because actually oil is like crashing right now. So it's very interesting that in a sense, oil stock preferred / share special dividend is based upon oil and gas assets, and this thing was up 5% today. I find that very interesting. So if you go in a lot of the oil stocks, WTI crude's crashing, all the oil stocks are down huge. I think they're down like 20-30% over the last month or so since beginning of June. But here we can see MMTLP up 5.16% today, up to $1.63. Here we see average volume 324,000 and we traded 290,000. So pretty close to the average volume there as well. And speaking of oil prices, I don't know if I remember going back and showing you the last time that so here we see WTI crude at $98.29. Brent crude is at $100.30 and our natural gas is at $5.50. Widely different outlooks for oil prices in 2023. Here's what they expect. Global oil prices could reach a stratospheric $380 a barrel if Russia were to retaliate against the sanctions imposed by the G7 countries by cutting its crude oil output. And meanwhile, on the other hand of the spectrum, Citigroup is signaling a crude oil collapse to $65 a barrel by the end of the year and possibly even slump to $45 by the end of 2023 if a recession brings on a destruction in the demand of energy. So there it is, man. Leave a comment down below. Who do you think is right? Do you think my prediction wasn't near either of these predictions? I was going off the bank's prediction of $380. That seems a little crazy, but I don't know. I know there was people out there talking about how's the oil going down? Is it going to affect our preferred share, MMTLP dividend? Well, a lot of people saying if we go by the rolling price, we're still averaging like $80 to $85 on a year outlook. So at $80 and $85, guys, that's a healthy dividend. And that's not including then the natural gas. So let's go take a look here over at the Fintel and see what we got. I do want to show you that Fintel is still showing the shares outstanding for MMAT is 360,700,000. All right, going over here to the short interest, and we're going to get down here and look. Oh yeah, the days to cover is 8.23, so that has went up. Days to cover what? And we go down here to short shares that are available. Well, there's a ton of them now. 2.3 million. But as you see, back on the 5th, there was 2.3 million, and literally first thing this morning, someone gobbled all of them up, and there was only 150,000. And then at the end of this day, they're back to 2.3 million. So I'm just wondering if it's the same individual or same group that like returned all these shares and then borrowed them back. Crazy here. So we'll see tomorrow if these shares get scooped right up like they did back here yesterday on the 5th. Short borrow fee has came down, unfortunately, but still pretty high at a 41.21. So it's still very expensive, but not like it was up here in the 90s, the 70s, and the 60s. FINRA short volume ratio is kind of low today, a 39.51. It's pretty rare when we see a FINRA in the 30s. We're used to anything usually in the 50s and 60s and the occasional 70s. So to see something in the 30s is like ratio. We're at a 41.94. All right, so we do have a couple of tweets here to go over. And the big one I want to touch base on here is this one right here regarding the S1 coming out. And huge thanks here to Titus here. And he says, hey, John Berta, good morning. Would you be able to tell us if NextBridge would be a new company that the Series A preferred holders will have ownership of Basically, is it a necessary transition to sell the assets or a long-term investment option? Thank you for your time. And maybe not the answer we exactly wanted from John Berta, but in a sense, it's nice to know, because we are going to get all these answers as he answers here to this question when the S1 is filed, all these information once that S1 comes out to the public here. That's right. So once the S1's filed in the previous videos, so make sure you go check that out. Couple posts here I want to touch base on that Metamaterial News has on his page. And they got a picture of it here. Pretty nice to see the future home of Meta. So nice. One other thing I wanted to show, that's right. We got, okay, yes. And then we got Danielle. Danielle posted before with George. She's pretty good friends with George. As you see here, it looks like they're at like a little get-together / picnic ordeal. And she has a post here, brains are my favorite metamaterials. So that's pretty cool. I do like that, man, because we know metamaterials has to be like the most, I don't know, man, the most years of PhDs. And just, they like that. So the diamond hand investors, to say the least. All right, now we also got this big news here that Metamaterials and Colorimetrics collaborate to develop next generation batteries. This is huge, guys. So here it says Colorimetrics to manufacture and test Metamaterials N-Pore ceramic and plasma fusion technologies to deliver safer, higher performing Li-ion batteries. Now, I'm not going to get down and read all this here, but basically, this is huge, guys. This could be a great opportunity to break us into the EV space. And we could be in the EV, but there could be a lot of NDAs out there, non-disclosure agreements. So it's nice to know that we have this out there. And if we get products out there that we can disclose that we have, other EV companies are going to see that cost of the batteries, the size of the batteries is what makes the cars, you know, more affordable. So talk about this a little personal. If you don't want to stay, you don't have to. They had these games at Carnival. They're like the knife ring toss. It is so fun, man. You basically buy a bucket of rings and you throw the rings and you ring a knife. If you ring the knife, you win it. And it's just so fun. I've been just like going crazy with it at these carnivals, having a great time. It's so fun. Been winning a good bit of knives. So if anyone's a huge knife collector out there, like I said, these are just knives you win at the carnival. The nicer ones are probably anywhere from like $10 to $20 that, you know, the value. So you can buy a bucket of rings for like $10. You get a couple knives, you actually do pretty well. And they have some smaller knives and stuff like that, but I do like winning them, giving them out as Christmas gifts. And I'm just building up a collection. I already got a huge shoebox full of these knives, man. They have some pretty cool decorations on them. So, anyway, if you'd like to see some of those knives, leave a comment down below that you like knives, and I'll show you a couple of them that I've won at the carnival, and just having a great time supporting, you know, the local carnivals, man. Just supporting local community, and it's a great thing to do. So, hope you all enjoyed today's video. If you did, smash thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. I'll catch you all next video, guys. Peace.